Hi again. This segment I want to do something about called federal police, which in my book there should be no such thing. Thumbs down on federal police. I think maybe some people are trying to get us used to that concept, but let's think about that a second. I've asked a number of people that I work with, well, I guess 10 maybe, as to who has actual sovereignty over the land that we're on in the United States, and unfortunately maybe 7 out of 10 scratch their heads, say I don't know, but maybe the federal government or something. I said no. All my life and the way the system constitution's been set up for 200 years and stuff, the states have 100% sovereignty over this land. The federal government does have authority over stuff overseas, and they have authority if the states are arguing with each other or something. But as far as who has the final say and the power over the land we're on is the states, and that concept is slowly disappearing, which is maybe allowing people to not understand the problems with federal police, but we do not want one powerful central government with one powerful central police force. That's just wrong. So what I've seen developed a little bit is an agenda, what I call the Speaker of the House, President, Federal Reserve, Jihadist, Federal Police agenda, and it needs to be stopped in its tracks. Looking at each detail of what part of that agenda is. The Speaker of the House, where all money bills start for the federal government, has something they call baseline budgeting, which automatically grows. It depends on which party's in control, but it automatically grows the federal government every year by 3% to 5%, 8%, and it doesn't matter who's in power, well, that just keeps growing, which is not good. The president seems to be intent on keeping open borders where they can have who knows who coming through the border, especially the one with Mexico in our southwest. And the president is also keeping, for some completely unknown reason, a lot of armed bureaucrats in the EPA, the Department of Education of all things, and apparently in the Bureau of Land Management, where last year there was a bunch of ranchers with guns pointed at a bunch of federal bureaucrats in Nevada. So this is real, and it's not a good situation, but to keep going, I think the Federal Reserve, by their printing all these hundreds of billions every year, are fueling this. I'm not saying that it's intentional as much as it's just what they're doing, but they are in effect taking sides, because they're not buying the bonds or the debt, as far as I know, of state governments, whether it be Lansing, Michigan, or Atlanta or whatever. So I think the Federal Reserve is intentionally or unintentionally taking sides. Then you've got the jihadists who are at war with us, and we're not at war with them, but if they are coming through the fairly open, porous border and somehow getting into the government, and maybe the government knows, maybe they don't, and these armed bureaucracies, and the federal government could put them, the federal government has said they're spending some time having federal police helping local and state police. I think we don't want that kind of help. But it's theoretically possible, and I'm not saying it's happening, but at least not this round, but it could happen next round, where jihadists are actually getting into our local police cars, and that's a very scary thing. I've made up a bumper sticker just to illustrate it. It says "Federal Police ready to behead you." So, boy, we sure don't want to go there. So I'm trying to, in effect, cut this off at the pass. I think in this case, I think what's going on is that the Speaker of the House is just wrong. They need to balance the budget, or really shrink the size of the federal government instead of what they're doing. I think the President is just wrong. They should secure the border, especially the one with Mexico, a lot better, and not have all these armed bureaucrats. The federal police, if there is such a thing, I mean, who are they answerable to? They're not answerable to anybody, and that's what really bothers me. Again, I said that I'm thinking that the Federal Reserve is kind of picking sides here, whether knowingly or unknowingly, and of course I think the jihadists are wrong. So all these groups are wrong, and of course can't say the federal police are wrong because they shouldn't exist in the first place. So again, this is more about more power, more control, more money, more debt. This is just bad all the way around. I think we've kind of blown through a lot of the stops of the Constitution, and I guess I'll talk a little more about that when I wrap it up. But the Fourth Amendment has kind of disappeared with all the spying going on, and the 10th Amendment is pretty well gone. And the money printing and stuff, that's not the way our system is supposed to be set up. So the federal government has already kind of moved through the states and localities with this Common Core, and that's a bad situation. They've kind of moved through the states and localities now with this new health care bill, and that's a bad situation. And if they move through the states and the localities with policing power, then the situation that we've known and loved all our life and stuff will be pretty well gone. So I think if it's not happening imminently, I think though what I see of the big picture is it's inevitable that it will happen if we don't change the path we're on, and that's why one of the reasons I'm doing this video. So I guess that's all I have to say on that subject. But I guess one other quick comment before I close is I think even employees of the Federal Reserve and employees of the government should stop and think about this big picture, and I think even they don't want for their kids and their grandkids to go in the direction we're going. So that's it for now, and I'll wrap it up in one more video. Okay.